Kachoya! How we doing? Good morning, good morning. How we doing, chat? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. How we doing? I say we just let us up. That's the plan, boys. Let's go. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Snow Legend says, why short at 75? Well, do you remember when on Friday that was the plan? Did you get caught up? So on Friday I said it's gonna just go like this. I thought maybe it would be like a that, but eventually when CME came back, we were talking about a bank. The only difference is that on derivatives, you still have a little bit of an imbalance left over at the 7.5. CME already cleaned it. So the only problem is that it's ETH highs. So that was already the plan. And I don't know if you would consider getting back into value area low Gucci, because even if ES did it, it's going to be a huge gap. So it's either you're going to short here, and you're going to concede that that's going to be left like that, or that's going to get cleaned, and then somewhere around here is your next short opportunity, a swing of this. So this or this, and then longing this. That's it. For me anyways. Yeah, and then maybe that gets left behind like that. That's okay. That would just give me extra confluence to take this long tomorrow. Yeah, the volume is ridiculously low though. I'm sure you guys can see. Like, look at how, look at like a normal RTH. Look at this. Like nobody is trading. We're the only ones trading, chat. What the fuck? Yeah, that's about it, man. Volume is dead. So probably that's about it. Maybe if the bad highs get cleaned and if all the derivative single prints get grabbed, normal volume, even like, you know, like a Thursday and Friday, you know, normal volume, dead. Thomas says, would you still long 94.95? Oh yeah, if the data looks good. Dimitri says, so not cleaning bad highs or more probability to have reactions on next low? Yes. Yeah, because you're saving, leaving all of that imbalance behind. So the more bad highs you leave, and the further that you deviate from it, the more edge that you would have, or the confluence to get into a long, because eventually you're going to go clean those highs. Yeah, but the thing that you have to remember is that, remember when I was complaining about the bad highs getting cleaned? It took 6 months to go back and clean them. The December ETH high got cleaned May 24th or whatever it was. So you have to understand that it's not as quick as you would want, but that is correct. Bad high is always going to get cleaned. And think about how the RTH got cleaned on last week. Nanad says, does that mean something big is about to happen? No, probably not. And even if a big move did happen, you would have to ask yourself if you would trust it if it happened during low volume. Yeah, I would try to think back on if you've ever seen like a big move during a 3-day holiday weekend, and try to remember if it was something that had follow through when RTH opened back up the day after. Thomas says, of course, but damn would be nice for sure. And Thomas, I don't know if like you're looking at the same thing that I am, but obviously, like you know, once you get into like the 94s and 95s, then don't forget about because when you're talking about 94, 95, you're still talking about the point of control zone. Okay, that's the 96.95. Don't forget about like the 90.92s, which is the value area low for the whole move. So remember, once you get back into value area high, you know, the probability of rotating to the value area low is pretty high. So yeah, of course, holding the point of control would be nice, but don't forget about the 90 and 92 as well, which would be the full rotate of value. So yeah, any of those levels. I'm down to long 105. I'm down to long 98, which is the value area high. I'm down to long 95, 94, like you said, which is the point of control. And I'm down to long 90, which is the value area low. And we kind of broke all of those levels down. And not only did we break all of those levels down, but we also correlated it to what we thought, what it would bring for ETH and what it would bring for Sol as well. Yeah, but the levels are the levels. Cut joy. And then the infamous 115 to 118 1.25 extension zone as well. AIM Talk says, I'm looking for a long Kimba and the weekend didn't serve me the 104, 105. You wouldn't want to have taken it over the weekend anyways, AIM Talks. Yeah, I don't know if you've, taken like CME level longs over the weekend while CME was paused. Yeah, but you already kind of need to go into the weekend making up your mind on whether you would still take the trade on the weekend. I think you were the guy asking for the long, and I think you were the guy I was talking to about how you want to you don't want to take I think you were the guy I was telling that long you can take it if you want to, but having it change structure, that's when you want the longs. Yeah, so conceptually, any of these would have been fine to take because you did make a lower low. But yeah, the better level would still be to get like the 104, 105 level. Yeah, but you did get like bull divs and whatnot coming into this, so it would have been okay. And I don't know if you remember, it's never going to be pixel perfect, but I think I drew I said something like this, and then I was like, bink, bink. This was kind of what I drew for like what I expected over the weekend, and then pop. And then pull, do you remember this on Friday? When I said it'll just do this over the weekend, CME pops, and then we go do that. So it might not be like exactly perfect. And the fact that it's a 3-day holiday weekend means that this could be like the outlier. This could be like basically creating what it was supposed to do, but it's low volume. So what it does is it's going to come back down here again, and it's going to basically come back into the same bing bong ding dong. Okay. And then when RTH opens, it might actually go clean it, and then you might be able to get the 104, 105. So obviously AIM talks, none of us can predict the future, but you want to have like these concepts, okay? So remember what I said was the most important thing. That long is totally acceptable, especially for a scalp, but the real long that you want to get into is when it changes structure. So that'll never change. And that's something that you always want to remember, because whether it's last week or in 3 months, that's going to pay you money. Okay, do you know why I was talking about how it could pop when CME opens, but eventually we're looking for something like that? Now, I don't know if this is the true pop. I don't know if it's going to be on RTH tomorrow. Okay, it's ridiculously low volume, so it would not surprise me at all if this is the fake. We come back, we crab again, and then on Monday we actually do the real move. We've seen that plenty of times. Okay, but generally speaking, if you can kind of understand what you want to wait for or what you can anticipate so you don't get fucked over, then I think you're in good shape. Can we predict exactly when it's going to do it or how low or how high it's going to go? That part's going to be a little bit tricky, but if we can say, hey, the long we want to get is when it makes a lower low, at least you don't get stuck into bottom shorting, okay? At least you understand that you're looking for longs when it changes structure. You're not going to be the retail idiot that goes, oh, we made a lower low, let me try to short the next lower high. That's wrong. Okay, if you want to short, you do the same thing as we just talked about on the long. You wait for a higher high. So if you can just understand those concepts, at least we're not going to get got, okay? We might not get the perfect long, we might not get the perfect short, but we're not going to get got. So we've got a good foundation at least to make sure we don't piss away money for no reason, right? So yeah, it's if you were waiting for 104, 105 to try and get the long, that's the level that you want. But remember, we're not looking to long random levels. We're not shorting random levels. It's the data. So that is a hidden bull div and that is a regular bull div. So it would have been acceptable to try and long there if you wanted. I don't know if you got to pull the fib or not, but whether you pull it from this fib like this, where you get the pixel perfect 886914, or the anchor point from down here, in which case you get pixel perfect golden pocket. So golden pocket or the 886914 on whichever range you want to pull, plus a hidden CVD bull div and a regular bull div. So it's not wrong to have taken that. But if I were you, I would still wait. Like I didn't long that, and I would never really long that over the weekend anyways. So, yeah, it's kind of tough. I don't think you've missed a long though, brother. Okay, AIM talks. So, the first thing that I would be looking at is, okay, that's a bad high, so it's unfinished, and they did it during ETH and the weekend. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to be thinking that's prime for shorting. So if I was going to wait for a short, I would try to be patient and wait for all that to get cleaned. And if it's a good tail, then I've got a chance to go further down than what this is right now. Because like I said, if you go ahead and leave it like that, there's a chance that we might just crab around in the zone again, and then tomorrow we actually get the clean sweep. But if you get the sweep now and it's a really good selling tail, then we might just leave that RTH gap for later. See that gap? Moses says, in a short, how are you underwater in a short right now, Moses? Okay, that's okay. So I don't know if you were able to get caught up in the morning conversation, brother, but the SFP and the bearish retest of the value area high and the VWAP and the point of control. Need to lower my leverage as my stop loss keeps getting hit. Got you. Okay. Well, you've got a couple of options, brother. You've got a full rotate all the way down to value area low and settlement. You've got VWAP bearish retest, value area high bearish retest, and point of control bearish retest. At this point, based off of how much time we've spent below VWAP and value area high, you really don't want to get above the point of control. So point of control would almost be like stop loss. Maybe you can get a value, get a value VWAP bearish retest. Alrighty, but you need to start thinking about shaving a little bit of, or de-risking a little bit of the short once you can get to value area low and settlement. Would that get you break even? And then obviously, you would be looking at the 7.5 as well. So maybe you can get a value area low bearish retest and head down lower. All right, I'm trying to TP the short around 104, 105. Is the more logical thing gonna happen? Everybody is thinking that. That's the only reason why, if you're looking at the order flow and open interest, and you do get a lot of people that are long, and then they like, imagine for example, Arrow Fury. Like right off the rip initially at 104 or 105, the open interest net longs across exchanges, they show that they entered, and more then anything else, you notice that on Bybit, people got into longs, big ones, okay? And then you actually start to maybe form a trident and you have a regular bull div, but it doesn't hold and the longs don't close and now they're trapped. So I think the first step in terms of thinking what's the most logical, I totally agree with you. The next thing is the most logical thing going to actually play out? Has the most logical thing been playing out for the last couple of weeks? That's the next step. And then if the most logical thing doesn't play out, what would be the second best scenario where maybe the people that thought the 105 long was good and quote unquote logical, when they get stopped out, where we can get filled next? Just in case 105, so you see, like, I'm not saying 105 isn't going to hold, but I'm already prepared for it, Euro Fury. So I know that I will still take that whole spiel doesn't prevent me from taking the 104, 105 long, but I also know what would make me be a little bit aggressive with making sure that I get stopped out and profit. And if that long doesn't work, then immediately I'm shifting focus to the next level. Yeah, but there's really no right or wrong. We're going to see it, you know, like at the end of it all, Aero Fury, if I see longs getting stopped out and or bottom shorts coming in at 104, 105, if it's a swing fail, trident, 3 drives, or a Kimba crown, right? If there's a hidden CVD bull div, I'm probably in that 104, 105 long with you. Okay. And I'm going to put my stop loss at break even relatively quickly after 5-minute structure change. And then, if I'll just assume that I'm going to get round tripped. And if I do, I'm ready for that 1 hundo, or if I need to re-enter like on like a trident bullshit. Okay. Yeah. And if I don't get round tripped and it's like a pixel perfect bottom, that would be dope too. But it's okay if you have biases, as long as you're prepared for when the bias doesn't actually play out and you've thought it through that far. I think people get fucked when they have a bias. They're prepared for their bias to play out, but when it doesn't, then they're completely lost. So I feel like if you really understand that we're all just like, you know, retail shrimp, you probably should be just preparing for like the scenarios that is not your ideal situation. Nowojo says, what is Kimba Crown? It's a little bit of a more of a higher time frame thing, but it's basically what most people would call like Wyckoff accumulation or Wyckoff distribution. It's 1, 2, the third one is it changes structure and then it holds something like this. Same thing to the upside. 1, 2, third one is the hit. Okay, some people might even call it a BART, I guess. If you really want to, I bet we could find a whole bunch. It's usually like on 4 hour, 8 hour. Even this is kind of like, anyways, I don't know. I think you just have to kind of see it when it happens. But it happens a lot. If you want to Google Wyckoff accumulation or distribution, pixel, useless lines, records, Kachoi, Shibaya, can I get a Juicy Juice Productions? Yeah. But Arrow, I like I said, brother, you give me a hidden CVD bull div, you give me a little bit of open interest to help me work with it. All right. Give me structure, and I'm in that long. Okay? And I don't know if it's going to hold 104, 105 or not. And so if it doesn't, I'm already prepared, and I already know what I'm looking at for the 198, 99. All right. What do you think? Are you in a you're in the short with me right now, or what are you, or you're already in a long and you're going to get stopped out, or what's your thing? I'm short from the sweep. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. And where's your stop loss? Like point of control and golden pocket when we pulled it? Like here? But that's crazy though. So it closed right on value area high, and then when CME stopped, Coinbase spot took over, pixel perfect, and now it's heading back down again. So obviously, like the follow through of structure, meaning if it makes a lower low, you have been able to confirm that the value area high did indeed do a bearish retest, and then you're going to be looking for value area low. So nothing has really changed in the last 30 minutes. Anything you want to talk about as we get ready to wrap it up, brother? A classic like swing fail pop quiz, if you will. Lots of lions took the initial short. A couple of lions got stopped out, round tripped. Some lions held on, some lions re-entered. But at the end of it all, like whether you got stopped out or re-entered or just got left at the train station, it was an SFP play. Pixel perfect, value area high, bearish retest. And overall, just being patient. You can see even on the CME charts, if you go to volume, it's incredible. There's nothing. We're the only ones trading today. Yeah, so you didn't miss too much, man. Enjoy your bonfire, and you probably don't even need me to show this to you, but look at this. So it's mathing. Yeah, I think this is like kind of the easiest chart to look at to understand what the 112 means, what the 110 500 means, and even on like the smaller time frame on 30-minute candle close, what you're seeing on structure change, time spent, VWAP, etc. You know, I would hope that you're not gonna say I want you to be in the big short with me, because that's It's an ETH scalp, put your stop loss at break even, can't lose. That's why I was telling homie to anticipate to get stopped out tomorrow. Yeah, but first things first. I mean, imagine if VWAP and value area high holds, right? Because I don't have to guess if the value area high or the VWAP is going to be resistance. What do I have to do? I just have to let us up, hang out with you guys, bump a couple tunes, and see if it makes a lower low. How hard is that? And if this bitch gets above value area high and VWAP, well, then we know what it is.